What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P. We are back here once again. You already know what time it is. It is that time of day. It's that time of day, that time of night, that time of evening when we get together. We commune to communicate. And we commune to communicate about the Detroit Lions. Let me go ahead and hit this intro off for y'all when you see me front of TV. One thing is for certain, and three things are indeed for sure. Number one is the fact that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, it is that we came to give you stats and not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three, we came to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself, how, Don, how, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple, very easy, and I'm going to let you know right now. I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking. You got to smash the like button. You got to subscribe, and you got to share with your peoples. Now, when you do these things, it doesn't matter in which order you've done them in, you have indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since sharing is caring, when you share this stream with your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, your fathers, sisters, you name it, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people. You've cared about them. All right, you know what we got to get into today. What up, Mr. Morale 313? We got to get into talks about the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. And can the Lions win it? I mean, you're in it to win it. You believe that your name is not Bennett, because if your name was Bennett, you wouldn't be in it. And no matter how you want to spin it, the opportunity cost that you take is the cost to win it. You've got to pay the cost to be the boss, not the hoss. Because what you don't want to do is come out of this game with a loss. Now I want you to look to your left and look to your right. And I want you to say, Alizé. All right. Hashtag if you know, you know. Use the hashtag. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Swine, my brother. All right. Telemade Media says the Cowboys have won 3 in a row. I got that part. But we're gonna talk about how the Lions could win. Because right now it's not looking too good. We got Kirby Joseph out. We got Khalif Raymond out. Graham Glasgow is gonna be out, and everybody else is questionable. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable. He's a game time decision. A lot of people think he won't play. He's got a lower ankle sprain, which is, your standard ankle sprain. So he's usually going to miss 1 to 2 weeks. Let's say he missed last week because he got hurt when in the first quarter, didn't really play. Um, so this would be week number 2 that he misses, if he misses it. He's a game time decision. He's listed as questionable on the injury report, but we don't know if he will play. As we said, it is a game time decision, so we will have to wait until then to see if Jameson Williams will be our number 1 wide receiver, be our number 1 target. If you guys are looking for a Tesla game, maybe this is it. Maybe he finally. I don't know that you can justify this trade. I misspoke earlier this season when I said I believed that he had already justified the trade, because unless he can rush the passer, unless he can protect Jared Goff like an offensive lineman and like keep off some of the interior offensive pressure, just don't think he can justify the trade. It just doesn't happen. It's not it. Tape St. Brown up and get him out there. Otherwise, white boy Rick is getting the start. Well, he's gonna get the start anyway. Because Khalif Raymond is out. So if you wanted a third wide receiver out there, you don't have Sam Laporta. You don't have Brock Wright. You don't have Shane Zylstra. You don't have anybody out there. So yeah, this is a situation where he was going to have to play anyway. This is a situation where he had has to justify why he was drafted. We can't just have JMO out there and Tom Kennedy, right? Isaac Tesla, I don't know if this is fair or not, but I feel like Isaac Tesla has to have a better game than Tom Kennedy. Because if Tom Kennedy gets out there and gets more targets, gets more catches, and is more productive than Isaac Tesla, then it solidifies the fact that you shouldn't have drafted him. And not you shouldn't have drafted him because he wasn't good. It's you shouldn't have drafted him because he wasn't going to help your team this year. So now he has the opportunity because of injury, maybe, to help your team. If Amon-Ra St. Brown can go, that diminishes his role a bit, but also he's gonna have to be the third wide receiver because, as I said, Khalif Raymond is out with that ankle injury. All right. What about Jackson Flaxen Waxen? I'm guessing if Amon-Ra St. Well, see, that would be the thing. He would have had to have been elevated already. Because I don't think he's on the active roster. If he's on the active roster, then he's been a healthy scratch. If he's on the active roster, I would expect him to play. But then also we got Dominic Lovett. I don't know. Just play them all. Just play who's available. We're at that point of the season. We're at that point in the tenure of Brad Holmes. Just play who the hell's available. That's it. We Makai Wingo, play him, whatever. Who cares, right? You know, how we got Tyleek Williams, so we don't need Makai Wingo. We got Roy Lopez, so we don't need Makai Wingo. Then why'd you draft him? You know, I mean, you drafted him in the 6th round. Doesn't matter. No one cares. But still, I mean, a contributor here or there would be nice. And we're not talking about the guys who are starters. We're talking about once you go into those deeper waters, right? When you go into those 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks, what can you do then? Kirby Joseph was a 3rd round pick because he was a converted safety. He used to be a wide receiver. He played 1 year of safety in college. So he never was going to be picked high. But a guy that played 1 year of safety after coming from the offensive side of the football the previous 3 years, and then he gets drafted in the 3rd round. I guess you could say that guy was probably going to be pretty good, and I think we're all happy with Kirby, right? I appreciate you, Mr. Detroit City. Appreciate you. Our pass rushes cheeks, man. Yeah, sugar. We've been talking about that. It's booty butt, cheeks, rump. It's bad. It is bad. More than anything, the O-line must protect Goff. That is going to be the key. Now, here's the thing that is the saving grace. If there's any saving grace, Dallas has a very bad pass defense. You can't be marrying up the pass rush and the secondary if you have a bad pass defense. So that means that there are going to be a lot of times where the pressure doesn't get to Goff, and there's going to be a lot of times where the coverage gets blown. Here's the other problem. Well, I would say it was a problem when Johnny Moe was at the helm. Let's see if it's a problem with Dan Campbell. When Johnny Moe was at the helm, they were readily accepting this. And I was like, why are we accepting this? This is a bunch of bullcrap. If Amon-Ra St. Brown can't go, Jameson Williams is going to see a lot of triple coverage. And it's not going to be obvious triple coverage. It'll be 2 men on him, double coverage, and it'll be a safety lurking in the area. to try to bait Jared Goff into throwing the pick because they know he likes to force the ball to his guys. And if Jameson Williams is the number one wide receiver on Thursday night because Amon-Ra St. Brown can't play, look for Jared Goff to force the football to him. It's just what he does. All right. With Johnny Moe at the helm, they accepted the fact that this coverage was happening and they didn't try to get him the ball at all. Oh, look how they're covering them over the top. We can't get it downfield. We can't get the ball downfield to J-Mo. Oh. Throw a crossing route. Throw a quick slant. Doesn't have to be down the field. All right. But Dan Campbell has done a lot better at getting Jameson Williams involved. Last week, he had 7 catches, 141 yards, touchdown, career high in yards. Okay. So the importance of J-Mo this week, even if Amon-Ra St. Brown does play, he's not going to be 100%, right? How will that ankle affect his route running? How will that ankle affect his blocking? How will that ankle affect his ability to play football like he knows he can play and like he wants to play? That's the question. Enter Jameson Williams as the answer. Okay? Jameson Williams is the answer for him. But then he might also just be the answer for Jameson Williams. Hey, man, we're going to pull some coverage off of you and let you go. Because that would be the threat of Amon-Ra St. Brown, but you got to throw him a couple balls, pause, so that they don't figure out that he's really just a decoy because he can't do much on that ankle. It's possible. It's going to be Slant City with J-Mo and TK85. Oh, I hope so. I have no problem with that. Because J-Mo can take a 2-yard slant and 70 yards later, he's in the house. He's in the box. How about making Monty RB1 and put Gibbs in the slot? I mean, you could. You could because the offense is going to run through Gibbs and J-Mo if St. Brown can't play. But they're not going to put Gibbs in the slot. They're going to use him the way that they've been using him. And we saw in that game against the Giants that using him that way is effective. So I can't really complain about that. St. Brown's allegedly got a bad left wing too. Yeah, that's what they've been saying all year to explain away the drops. I'm just glad J-Mo is getting the spin. Facts. Y'all want to spin? Put Booby in. They just put up an 11-foot statue of RoboCop in Detroit. Maybe he can play OL or Edge. Oh man, that's funny. Well, if I had to guess, Don, J-Mo Monty 2 TDs each loading. I know. I knew it was coming. It had to suck knowing you could contribute and ain't getting no burn. Look, regardless of what all the people say, or not all the people, there's a segment of fans. Okay. I'm gonna get to that in 1 second, but there's a segment of fans that still hate J-Mo. They will always hate J-Mo. He will always be a punk, whatever that means. I think that's code for something else. I know it's code for something else. He handled the entire Johnny Moe situation with nothing but class. He never complained. He never griped. Nothing. Nothing but class. So shout out to my man J-Mo. Last night I went to make I know everybody doesn't watch Woodward Sports, but something came up on my feed, and I wanted to make an AI mockery of this post, but the only reason I didn't is because it came up on my Malik Peterson account and not my I wasn't on my Motor City Cats account. So I was like, I'm not posting anything. And then I was just like, forget it. I didn't have the energy. I was tired. Um, so there was a debate going on yesterday. And there wasn't a debate. It was like an argument about the fans of Detroit. And the segment that I was going to make fun of was the guy says that he hates this new fan base that he calls new money Lions fans that are talking crap about a team that has gotten you uh nowhere you've ever seen before. Number one, we've seen an NFC championship before. We lost that one too, which is why we haven't been to the Super Bowl. Number two, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope these fans that need to hear this. And if you know fans like this, I want you to share this with them. There is a problem with Detroit Lions fans. It's not Detroit sports fans because Detroit sports fans have seen championships on every level. But Detroit Lions fans have never seen a championship. Now, if you were alive in 1957, you saw one. The gatekeeping of fanship or fandom or fanativity, whichever word you want to use, is crazy. You should be grateful to a team that has done nothing. They've won nothing. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't give a damn about telling people that the Detroit Red Wings made the playoffs for 25 straight years if there was never any success. Can you imagine making the playoffs for 25 straight years and never winning a championship? Could you imagine that? How many of you would actually care? Like if the Lions what cuz and just look at the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. They've made the playoffs just about every year that Mike Tomlin has been the coach. They've never had a season below 500. You can't have a 500 season anymore, okay? Because there's now 17 games instead of 16. Once they move it back to 18, then you'll be able to go 500, right? 500 with 18 games would be 9-9. With 16 games, it was 8-8. They've never had a season that was under 500. Never finished below 500. It's amazing. A lot of people in Pittsburgh want Mike Tomlin fired. It's believed that Mike Tomlin may want out of Pittsburgh. Why? Because they haven't won a championship in how many years? They just get into the playoffs. And the last, 6 years have been eliminated in the first round in the wild card? There are a lot of Lions fans, if we had that same fate, who would be dancing a jig. For what, bro? Like, yeah, you want your team to be good. That's awesome. but you also want your team to win championships. As a fan, you just want to be able to say that you're the best. That's why it's such a big deal. That's why people want their team to win Super Bowls because they want to be able to say they're the best. There are 32 franchises, and we are the one that is the best. Everyone that came for this title failed except for us. And as Lions fans, we've never been able to say that. Ever. We've never been able to say it. And that's the problem. So when we are saying that Brad Holmes needs to do better, when we're calling out ownership, when we're calling out this, that, the coaching, whatever, it's because we want to see a Super Bowl. And I don't understand those guys that founded Woodward, why neither one of them understands that. No one cares about sustained success. No one cares. We don't care. The Lions could make the playoffs for 25 straight years and not win it. And it's like, what are you gonna do, man? When y'all gonna win something? Because I'm tired of these damn playoffs. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. We're talking about Super Bowls, bro. Yeah, you gotta get to the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. But if I had to sit here for 25 straight years, if I had to sit here for 10 straight years and watch the Lions fall on their face as soon as they get into the playoffs, who cares? Your season was a failure, just like everybody else, just like all the other the 31 other teams. Your season was a failure because only one team is successful every single year. And that team is whichever team gets to and wins the Super Bowl. We talked about the four falls of Buffalo. Shout out 30 for 30. Got to the Super Bowl 4 straight times, lost every single one of them. How many of those fans do you think be like, well, at least we got there 4 times? That had to be crazy to live through. As a fan, God damn, we done been to 4 Super Bowls in a row. Nobody's ever done that in the history of Everdom. No one has done it. But we did it, and we don't have anything to show for it but a bunch of runner-up trophies. So if you're out there, if you're one of those fans that wants sustained success, what does that get you? What does it get you as a fan? As a team, it gets you a lot, right? It gets you, players want to come here because we have a culture of winning, even though we don't win anything. We just we don't finish our regular seasons below 500. And we get into the wild card, we'll eke it out. Maybe sometimes here and there we'll get a 1 seed. Um, Maybe the day before the playoffs, we're fighting for our playoff lives and we something goes our way and we get into the playoffs. And then sometimes 11-6 doesn't get you to the playoffs. 10-7 doesn't get you to the playoffs. So that's it, man. That's pretty much it. We don't care. We don't care about sustained success. If you don't want to win a Super Bowl, if you want to be a Brad bot, if you want to say that everything that the team does is great, is wonderful, this ain't the place for you. Motor City Cats ain't that type of place. Motor City Cats, Detroit Lions Syndicate, and many others would like to see a Super Bowl. If you are a subscriber to the Motor City Cats, you also want to see a Super Bowl. If you ain't subscribing, it's probably because your boy too real, and he wants a Super Bowl. So he gonna talk about this pass rush. He gonna talk about failed drafts, failed draft picks, silly draft picks, project picks. Give me a project pick, a hood rat pick, one that don't make a difference, and one that ain't done ish. What? You know what I mean? Shout out if you know, you Staff Shack. All right, let me get your comments and we're gonna get back to talking about this. Uh Uh, that good idea regarding Gibbs in the slot, but also run him with jet sweep. No, no, no. A punk is a prison term. JMO is not a punk. A punk in prison means something a lot different than what it means out here. You know, sometimes we use it out here, but in prison it means one thing. We basically the Steelers without the Super Bowl shot. Facts. You know, that's a sustainable franchise. It is. My prediction, unfortunately for Steelers fans, is after Tomlin leaves, one day they hire Pittsburgh's very own Mike McCarthy to replace him. Estimates so sad. Well, I mean, if Tomlin leaves this year and A.A. Ron comes back, then there you go. McCarthy and A.A. Ron reunited and it feels so good. Poor fans. How many QBs has Mike Tomlin had since Roethlisberger? Mason Rudolph. Mitch Trubisky was there. I think was he there with? Was Mitch Trubisky ever there? Felt like he did a year. Uh Kenny Pickens, A. Ron. I think three, maybe four. You make Brinks trucks worth of cash during the playoffs. We don't. We don't make a damn thing. All we make is misery when we don't win. Don, don't waste time talking about that joke show wannabe network ran by a junkie chat. They are arrogant, big-headed nobodies who had a good thing and crashed it into the dirt. I'm just saying, I just wanted to point it out, you know, because they got the reach. Facts. All right. So let's get back to this. We're gonna go over some of the and we do this, but we're gonna go over the NFL defensive rankings. Okay. Because again, it's gonna come down to the defense. What is the defense able to do? Okay. Now, here's something that y'all might not know, and you might have not been prepared to hear, but Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. Dak Prescott is being protected. He is tied for the fourth least amount of sacks taken in the NFL. The fourth least out of all 32 teams. We're not talking about the NFC only. No, no. We're talking about all 32 of them. Okay. So that means, well, he's tied for it. So there's about 27 other quarterbacks that get sacked more than he does. 27. That's crazy, right? All right. Team defense rankings through week 13. We're going to do the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. The Detroit Lions have dropped out of the top 10 all the way down to 14 because we've been cheeks. 2 weeks ago, we were in the top 10 going into the line into the Giants game. We were in the top 10 total defense. We are at 14 right now. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys are at 29. So our defense is twice as good as theirs, apparently, according to the numbers. All right, now passing defense, the Detroit Lions again out of the top 10. Okay, because we were in the top 10. Now we have to go to 17. Remember when this was a top 10 defense? Remember when we were number 2 in sacks? Remember when we had a semblance of a pass rush? Remember when people were singing the praises of Brad Holmes for not re-signing Zadarius Smith because he retired? He's no longer in the league. He's washed and he's a bum. How's that working out for you? I ain't got nothing in here, but that ain't none of my business. The Detroit Lions are 17th in pass defense. And the Cowboys are worse still at 30. The Cowboys give up 251.5 yards and they've allowed 28 touchdowns through the air. The Detroit Lions are tied with the Los Angeles Raiders at 17th. Okay. They give up 212.5 yards per game and have allowed 25 touchdowns, while the Raiders, in my opinion, should be 17 and the Lions should be 18 because the Raiders have only allowed 19 touchdowns while the Lions have allowed 25. All right, rushing defense. The Detroit Lions are just out of the top 10. We're not top 10 in much of anything anymore, guys. Remember this. This defense is underperforming now. Remember, we were a top unit. No longer are we a top unit. I just want you guys to remember this as we go through the show. All right, Lions 103.7 yards per game, 8 touchdowns. We've crossed into the threshold. Remember I said down towards the end of the season, we always cross into the threshold of giving up 100-yard games. Well, guess what? You got to earn the right to rush the passer here. That's why we're not rushing the passer. I just figured it out. Boy, I tell you, I'm so smart. Look, we are not rushing the passer because we're giving up over 100 yards per game on the ground. So the coaches have said, you have not earned the right to rush the passer. So therefore, you're not allowed to rush the passer. You see, this is how it works. I got it. Okay, cool. All right. The Lions are 11th in rush defense. Let's see where the Cowboys are. They're 20th. They allow 124.7 per game and have given up 13 touchdowns. Scoring defense. The Detroit Lions, again, are outside of the top 10. They are 15th. They allow 22.8 they allow 22.8 points a game and they've given up a total of 33 touchdowns. Whereas the Cowboys are 31st. They allow 28.5 points per game and they've given up 41 touchdowns. Okay. Red zone defense. The Lions, again, used to be in the top 10, and now the Lions are 27th. Right under the Bears. 63.2% of the time you get into the red zone, you will score a touchdown against the Detroit Lions. But the Cowboys are 31st. 71.1% of the time you get into the red zone, you will score a touchdown on the Dallas Cowboys. Third down defense, the Detroit Lions used to be in the top 10, and they are right outside of it at 11. 37.3% of the time you will convert a first down against the Detroit Lions on third down. However, with the Cowboys, you got to go all the way down to the very bottom at number 32. 48.4% of the time, the Cowboys will allow you to convert a third down. That's almost 50%. That's almost 50%. Right? If you get 10 first downs, you should be able to third downs, you should be able to convert 5 of them. Right? Okay. The outlook is this. We're going to talk about the offense in a second. The outlook is this. The Cowboys are bad at defense. However, Cowboys have been playing much better defense recently in their 3-game win streak. Remember what Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions have been playing much worse defense recently in their last 3 games. Remember what Dan Campbell said about when other people were having their slump, we'd be going like this. 2 trains passing in the night is looking like we're the ones slumping still. It's looking like we're the ones slumping still. Taylor Man says, all I heard was the Lions have a top 5 defense. Now it's we got to protect Jared Goff. Well, we had a top 5 defense And then they stop playing top five, top five, top five, top five. They don't do that no more. I thought I told you that we won't stop. All right. Let's look at the offense. As I said, the offense should be able to do. We should be able to run the football. They're giving up 125 yards per game. We should be able to throw the football. They're giving up 251 yards per game. We should be able to move the ball on this defense. Can you protect Jared Goff from Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark? If you can keep him clean for 2.31 seconds, he should be able to find his receivers and get it thrown to him. Okay. All right. Let's look at the offense. All righty. Okay. Are y'all ready for this? Because the Detroit Lions have gone to what? Was it 17th in overall defense? The Dallas Cowboys are the number one ranked offense in the NFL. They put up 393 yards per game, and they've scored 40 touchdowns on offense. This defense that the Detroit Lions is fielding, coming in slumping, is going against the number one offense in the league. I told y'all not to sleep on the Cowboys. There's still some people sleeping on the Cowboys because what are they, 5-1 now? Something like that. Okay. And that's not good enough for a lot of us. And Jerry Jones is a joke. Shouldn't have traded away Michael Parsons. And they're on the 3-game winning streak. Okay. It's the end of the season. And they're getting hot. Okay. So remember what happens with teams that get hot in the end of the season and then make the playoffs. Now, we'll talk about the playoff implications in a minute, but I just want y'all to remember this. Okay. Where are the Lions? We're still number 3. That's crazy, right? We're still number 3. We put up 376.3 yards per game, and we've scored 43. So we scored more offensive touchdowns than the Cowboys. Advantage Detroit Lions. How is that advantage Detroit Lions? Well, the Cowboys are the 31st ranked defense in the league, and the Lions are the 3rd ranked offense. The Cowboys are the number 1 ranked defense, and the Lions are 17th. I'm sorry, number 1 ranked offense, and the Lions are 17th on defense. The disparity between the two units is less on the Lions side than it is on the Cowboys side. Okay. The Cowboys got to deal with number 3, and 27 spots down is their defense. The Lions have to deal with number 1, and 16 spots down is their defense. You understand what I'm saying? So the Lions advantage there. Okay. All right. Passing offense. Cowboys are number 1. 271.3, 26 touchdowns. The Lions are number 7. 238.2, 26 touchdowns. Same amount of touchdowns. The Lions may be without Amon-Ra St. Brown, which leaves Jameson Williams, Tom Kennedy, Isaac Tesla. The Dallas Cowboys have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. I feel like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is going to be harder to stop with Amik Robertson and Rock Yassin than J-Mo, and dudes. These guys, Jags, just Jags. Yeah, because you got J-Mo and Jags. Again, very bad pass defense that we're going up against. So J-Mo could blow the lid off the whole thing, and that could be it. But I think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are going to have something to say. Now, remember, Kendall Vildor did a decent job against CeeDee Lamb until he fell down on a safety that Derek Barnes should have gotten. And y'all saw what happened 95 yards later. So I don't know. It's not insurmountable. All right. Rushing offense. The Lions still have a better rushing offense than the Cowboys. The Cowboys are actually not even in the top 10 in rushing offense. The Lions are number 4 at 138.1 yards per game with 16 rushing touchdowns. Remember, the Cowboys give up 124. Okay. The Cowboys give up 124. The Lions create 138. Now, that is because of it's skewed because of a couple big games by Jahmyr Gibbs, but that's what it is right now. Gibbs could have a really big game against the Cowboys. Why not? We do 138, they give up 124. It's not far-fetched to think that. All right, Lions number 4, Cowboys number 13. They pick up 121.8. They've got 12 touchdowns. We give up 103.7. Advantage Detroit Lions. There's a lot of advantage Detroit Lions here, right? The Cowboys in the passing game, I feel like they have the advantage because they've got better wide receivers available to them than we do right now. All right. Okay. Scoring offense. Cowboys are number 2. Lions are number 3. What is the discrepancy? Does anybody know? I'm sure you don't know. It's very minuscule. It's as small as it can be. It is 0.1 points per game. The Cowboys, the Colts are number 1. They're all so look, the top 3, okay? Can y'all hear that door opening and closing? Let me know. If you can, then I'll go close it. The top 3 are actually it's the top 4, but the threes are tied. The Colts 29.8 points per game, 42 touchdowns. The Cowboys 29.3 per game, 40 touchdowns. The Lions 29.2. 29.3 and 29.2 points. That's the separator. 0.1 point per game, and the Lions have 43 touchdowns. The Seahawks are at 29.2 points per game, and they have 38 touchdowns. So all the top 4 scored 29, some variation of 29 points per game. Okay. Again, I would say because that is so minuscule that it's an advantage to Detroit Lions because the Cowboys defense gives up more points than the Lions defense. So if the Lions or if the Cowboys defense is giving up more points than the Lions defense, I would take the Lions to score more points because our defense is better than their defense. We're going up against a team that scores 29.3 points per game. They're going up against a team that scores 29.2 points per game. And their unit is significantly worse at stopping people from scoring points than ours is. So I would say advantage Detroit Lions in that situation. All right. Red zone offense. The Lions come first. Well, they're not number 1, but they come before the Cowboys. They are number 7. They are 65.2 in the red zone. Okay. They will score touchdowns at that rate, 65.2%. The Cowboys are not super far off. They're at number 13 and they're 60.4. Again, we have a better red zone defense than they do. So it is advantage Detroit Lions. Okay. All right, third down offense. Ooh, oh, you already know our third down offense is trash. Okay, the Cowboys are number 5. Hold on. All right. What was I saying? Okay, third down defense. So you know our offense. The Cowboys are converting 44.1% of their third downs. This is gonna be tight. Okay. Because our third down offense, our third down defense is still very good. Okay. I think we're number 11. Yeah, it's still number 11, right outside. Okay. Number 11 and the Cowboys are number 5. Okay. Um the Lions are number 19. Okay. We're at 38.7%. As far as percentage goes, it's not terribly far behind the Cowboys. And remember, the Cowboys defense is cheeks. Statistically, the discrepancy is greater. Again, it is advantage Detroit Lions. Okay. Now, this may sound very Homer-ly, okay, and not too Bartley. See what I did there? But it is what it is. I'm using the numbers here. Okay, I'm breaking it down. I'm painting a picture here. All right, but remember, I told you, men lie, women lie, and so do numbers. People say the numbers don't lie, but numbers lie all the time. All right. So based on the numbers alone, this game is advantage Detroit Lions. Can anybody tell me why it doesn't feel that way? I want your opinions in the chat. Okay. Can anybody tell me the numbers say the Lions will win this football game? Did I do the numbers right? Did y'all like it? Does anybody have any? If you want me to reread some numbers, I can. Right? I can reread some numbers. If y'all want to do that and you feel that some things maybe weren't correct. Okay, let me duplicate this so we can have offense right next to defense. Okay, we got offense right next to defense. Hold on, let me go close that door. 1 second. All right, so I got offense right next to defense. Anybody need me to reread anything to put things in perspective for you? Why doesn't it feel like this is advantage line? So let me get to your comments and then we'll get to that point. Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark, that part. Facts. In December. What up, though, Robert Stevens? Javonte Williams is wearing Tony Dorsett's old uni. Why? Did they not? I thought they retired that number. I guess not. What is the Dallas run defense after the trade deadline? All of this is up to now, but you're talking about, what is it after that? I don't have those numbers. It probably improved, but their defense overall is still cheeks. If you're in the 30s and the trade deadline was how many weeks ago? 4 maybe? If you're in the 30s, 3 weeks ago, I think. As I said, they are playing better. I'm not gonna. That's why I'm telling you, why doesn't it feel like the Lions are the advantage? The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl despite Melvin's shortcomings. Melvin's shortcomings get to the very root of our problems. So you're going to have to overcome the root of your issues, not a symptom. You're going to have to overcome the disease in itself and not a symptom. That's hard to do. That's difficult. Monty is about to run over Dumb and Dumb on Dallas' interior line. We shall see. Appreciate you. You see what I did there? But I'm bummed. Simpsonian. iTest says otherwise. Facts. You are correct. Feels like this. The offense just ain't clicking this year, and the record reflects this. Facts. Man, that lounge is kind of fly. I do what I do. I do what I do. I'm talking about. Because the Lions feel like they're inconsistent football, including special teams. Right. Okay. So if I were going to pick this game, I want to pick the Lions when, look, this is how, and the Lions never do this. This is crazy, right? Shout out to you, Taylor May. I just saw your stuff on Twitter today. I don't be on. I know I need to be on there. But I don't be on there. So that's why I just haven't replied to anything. The Lions are at home. This is how desperate the Detroit Lions are for this win. When is the last time the Detroit Lions wore white at home? If anybody doesn't know what I'm getting at, the Dallas Cowboys hate wearing their dark blue uniform. They hate wearing their home uniforms. So that is why they are always wearing white. They wear white at home. They wear white on the road because they have this superstition about their navy blue home uniforms. The Detroit Lions are doing what you've seen the Eagles do in the past, where the Eagles would wear white at home and make the Cowboys wear the navy uniforms because they don't like them and they feel something. It's a whole institutional cultural situation where the Cowboys feel less confident and they feel like they suck when they're wearing those uniforms. At some point, get rid of them. Redesign some home uniforms. Okay. So we're getting into superstition and mojo to try to win this game. Have you ever seen the Detroit Lions do this? Ever? I mean, the Detroit Lions lose a lot on Thanksgiving and have lost a lot in those throwback uniforms that they wore last Thursday. I made a joke once I saw that they were returning to those that they would lose because they were wearing those uniforms. I am not superstitious. Just like everybody thought that, the black uniforms, because during the Millen era, not the fact that Millen was incompetent, not the fact that Millen hired incompetent coaches, not the fact that ownership was incompetent at that time. No, it was the black uniforms, and we had never won in them. That's why a lot of people didn't want the black uniforms to come back. Well, you've been proven wrong resoundingly. I think we've lost one time in the black uniforms. It doesn't matter what uniform you are wearing. This is what I'm saying. And the Detroit Lions are so desperate to win this game that they are resorting to superstition and mojo. This is how far we've fallen this season. I never thought I'd see the day. So you could swing it. You can look at that two ways. Way number one is that they're going to do whatever it takes to win this game, and they are not losing. Way number two is that they don't have enough confidence in themselves and what they're going to be able to do, which is why they're pulling this bullcrap with the uniforms. Okay. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Uh let's see. You got three cars, I get it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got three cars, got one in the shop. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? My work. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about. Dak is whack. Not this year. Dak is back. Last time the Lions wore white, can't call it. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. A couple of players made a big change with special teams. Last year, the kickers never had to make a tackle. Mm. Well, I don't think special teams is really at the top of our woes and worries. Uh our gunners were best in the league. Injuries have taken the heart in some ways of this team. We need to get to the bottom. Like I said yesterday, we need to get to the bottom of the injuries because it's ridiculous right now. We better win this game. Been following from the Philippines on my tomorrow morning. It's better than 2019 Lions, where they 6-10 or some crappy record. Um, okay. Who throw ducks? Jared. He went to Jared. All right. I I I don't have a good feel for this game. I don't have a good feel for this game because you have two teams that are considered inconsistent. The Dallas Cowboys are the hotter team. They've won three in a row. The Lions, I think, are what 1-2 in their last three. Um, yeah, they lost to who did we play before the Giants? They lost to the Eagles, beat the Giants, and lost to the Packers. So they're 1-2 in their last three. Based on that, I would have to say the Cowboys are playing better football right now. The Cowboys just beat the Chiefs and put a severe dent in their playoff hopes. The Cowboys did to the Chiefs what we couldn't do. They took the referees out of the game. But then again, Then again, I mean, who do the referees root for in a game with the Cowboys and the Chiefs? It's kind of a toss up. They probably just said, "All right, well, we have to officiate this one fairly because whatever we do is going to be fair. If we're screwing the Cowboys, we got to screw the Chiefs. If we screw the Chiefs, we got to screw the Cowboys. So if we just let them play fairly, then it's all going to work out the same way." I'm going to give you scenarios. If the Lions can take the referees out of the game early, I know we're in Detroit at Ford Field, it doesn't matter. If the Lions can take the referees out of the game early, if the Lions don't waste possessions like we did against the Packers, I think the Lions will win this game 31-21. Okay, and you'll see why I did that in a minute. All these things have to happen. It can't be a one-score game. If it's a one-score game, then that's going to give the referees too many opportunities to sway it. If you can't do these things, if you can't take the refs out of it early, if you waste possessions, the Detroit Lions will lose this game 28-24. I have to give a double prediction because it's the Cowboys. If the Lions can overcome the referees and the Cowboys, they will win this game. If they cannot overcome the referees, the Cowboys will be the reason that they lose. So they have to overcome both teams. It's not good enough for them to overcome just one of them. It's not good enough. Um, Been a weird year, but I'm always a Lions fan. All of us, for sure. Mailbag, Christian Wilkins. uh, I think Christian Wilkins. I think Christian Wilkins. Looking forward to running all over the Cowgirls. I hope they do. You know what time it is. Mailbag, mailbag. What you want to do? What you want to do when they reading you? Mailbag, mailbag. Snick, 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 snick. Mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that because I might have to get out of here. 36-21, you say. And then Stafford and the Rams are next week. That's not. I don't want to think about that right now. Let's see if they can get out of the dumps here because this is some bull crap. Yeah, but there's gonna be extra motivation, because the only time Stafford has beaten us is when the trade first happened, that first year when our team was absolute booty cheeks. So there's going to be extra motivation on his part. Mafia gamblers hiring witches to curse our team to line their pockets. I call on the dragon and throw some of that heat on this season and some good sauce. All right, maybe that'll work. I don't know. And what do his fingers smell? Nope. Not doing that. Did I say Sunday? The Lions lost 3 out of 4 during the preseason. They've now dropped 5 with 5 left in the regular season. 3 plus 5 equals 8. If the Lions lose versus the Cowboys, will the sky have fallen? You can't use preseason records to ask me a question. But if they do lose to the Cowboys, yes, the sky is falling because the season is essentially over. Um, and then if the season is essentially over, then there will be a lot of We're gonna get the pitchforks out for Brad Holmes because you failed the team. You had so many roster spots that weren't filled with people who could help you. You had so many roster spots that you wasted, and and a lot of those people aren't even on the team anymore. So yeah, mailbag: the Bears and Packers on Sunday night at Lambeau. Caleb Williams and Jordan Love. Lions are third place. Either way, your thoughts? I mean, you just want to see. I don't know. I think I hate Jordan Love more, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, for the Lions' chances, you gotta want the Packers to win. But I don't know that I can root for Jordan Love to win anything. Just can't do it. I don't know. 1 plus 1. Hey man, 1 plus 1 equals 8. Look, the math that I'm doing is advanced math, man. And y'all, hey man, what's with all the math jokes? We can't really. We should just need to all get along. I don't know what about all these math jokes. What y'all talking about? What pride worldwide? Peace out. All right, Robert. We'll check you later. Read a tip on the train once. Had his guitar with him. Mailbag, a self-proclaimed quote educated football knower end quote also states that he was once the CEO of a $14 billion holding company. Fact or fantasy? Big fantasy. No facts at all. If you were once the CEO of a $14 billion company and you don't have any money, you're an idiot. That is it. That is it. You are an idiot. Big, big, dumb idiot. uh, it's for sure. All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta return a phone call. But once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic. So I will be streaming the game tomorrow, but I will have to step out for 30 minutes. Which is generally why I don't do a show on Friday, but because it's Friday for me. So the game itself will be on. I will not end the stream. I'll throw a be right back up there. I will step out and be back as quickly as possible. Um, but yes, so keep it locked here. Motor City Cats, LNU, all that good stuff, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the game. Appreciate you once again, and we are out.